Why is Tiphani Montgomery talking about Beyoncé? So here we are 1 year after I share my testimony about how I stopped supporting Beyoncé. God gave me a revelation and was just like, you know what? You got to let Beyoncé go. So almost 1 year after that, Tiphani Montgomery, who I've been following for quite some time now, has gone viral for rebuking Christians who are still attending Beyonce's concert. Now, all of this came about because Beyonce just announced she was going on tour, and there was an abundance of Christian support out there. Christians who were just like me up until last year, who were super hyped at the announcement, talking about how they were going to be at the show, Queen Bee this, Beehive that. So when Tiphani Montgomery came through with that message, she ruffled some feathers. In the sermon, she calls out Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z, who is constantly mocking Jesus. And she revealed the real reason why Beyonce calls her fans the Beehive. Now, this part actually kind of made me sick to my stomach, because when I was supporting Beyonce, I used to call myself the leader of the Beehive, thinking that, it was in reference to her being a bee, queen bee, and the bees have their hive. But no, I learned from Tiphani Montgomery, a hive is a coven of witches. And I was like, wait a minute, I've never heard that before. So me being me, went to fact check her, and long behold, I typed in, what do you call a large witch coven? The answer, a hive. I was pledging allegiance to something that's demonic, that's so scary to think about. In my mind, I'm just thinking, hey, bees, beehive, queen bee, but there's so much more to it. Wow. I can't believe that this is a trending topic of discussion right now, as far as should Christians support Beyonce? Everybody was talking about it. It was Tiphani Montgomery's message was reposted on The Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, Fox Soul. Even Michelle Williams, who is a former Destiny's Child member, a gospel singer, and Beyonce's friend, had something to say about it. It was everywhere. It was trending and still is. So in case you missed it, here it is.
You have bowed to the systems of the world. You have bowed. Any of you who are going to Beyonce's concert, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How dare you call yourself a Christian? I don't care what pastor you got that is okay with it. I don't care what pastor you got that think it's cool. I don't care what pastor you got that's singing along to their song because they want some clout. Why you think that man called himself Jehovah? It was short for Jehovah. When a witch has a coven, it's normally a small thing. Witches' covens are normally 3 to 7 people. When it becomes thousands, it's called a hive. Y'all are part of that lady Beehive? And you call yourself a Christian? May the dealings of the Lord come upon you. You think this is small stuff. You think you not going to that lady's concert is not an initiation. You think you not going to that concert is not a ritual. You think you not going to concert is not a gate. That entire concert is a gate. How dare you call yourself a Christian? I'm telling you, may the dealings of the Lord come upon any Christian with a platform that is using mixture. This year, may the dealings of the Lord come upon you. This year, may the dealings of the Lord come upon you. Let me say something. There is a righteous indignation. God is tired of this. I'm telling you by the Spirit of God. He is tired of his people being in mixture. He is tired. You being in mixture is the same thing as you cheating on your wife. You being in mixture is the same thing as you cheating on your husband.
So as you can imagine, that sermon got a lot of backlash. It was, again, reposted by a lot of mainstream media outlets, but in their reporting, they referred to Tiphani as judgmental. They said she's a false prophet, that she's a hypocrite, and pretty much said everything they could to try to assassinate her character. But my thoughts on it is, you know, when you start talking about Beyonce, like, something about her bass, like, it's really hard to explain unless you've been there. I know what it's like to be a part of the hive. I know what it's like to be a part of that strong delusion and just not being willing to accept anything negative that anyone says about Beyonce. So in a way, I kind of feel for the people who were defending their support of Beyonce, but there comes a time where you can no longer claim ignorance. You can no longer live in denial. I believe that now we are living in a time where everything done in the dark is coming out to the light. People who were blinded, God is starting to reveal things to them to where you just can't deny it anymore. I know firsthand. So for all of the Christians coming against Tiphani Montgomery, it's a bad look. It's a really, really bad look. You might not have liked what she said, but there was no lies. And contrary to popular belief, Tiphani Montgomery didn't attack Beyonce in her video. She didn't condemn her as Michelle Williams would like you to believe in her response video to what Tiphani Montgomery said. She called out Christians who were blindly following Beyonce, not knowing that their soul is at stake, not realizing the spiritual warfare that takes place at Beyonce's shows and concerts, not realizing that when you're listening to her music and when you're attending her shows, you are taking place in the rituals. You are coming into agreement with whatever spell she's casting on those airwaves. So it's so much bigger than I just like the music, I just like the performance. Honestly, this was a blessing. Even though there was a lot of backlash in the mainstream media outlets, millions of people were given the opportunity to hear the truth. Somebody out there went and did some research. It's been shared everywhere. No one can say they didn't know now. So that in itself, I believe, is a blessing. That in itself, I believe, is a testament to how God is really awakening people. I watched two really, really good takes on this situation. One came from Jackie Hill Perry. She posted a video on her YouTube channel that just talked about Christians and discernment and using wisdom when it comes to things like this. I also saw a really good take on, it was Naja Austin, who also does the Cloud and the Fire Ministries. And her video was called The Real Reason Why Christians Shouldn't Attend Beyonce's Concert. Now, the reason I like Naja is because one of the first videos I saw from her was her testimony about how she went from New Age spirituality over to Christianity. So she's been into all that. She knows all about all of the different beliefs from the New Age that are kind of resurfacing now. So her take on the spiritual dangers of attending Beyonce's concert was really good. So I would definitely recommend watching that video as well. I feel like both of those videos were so good and that I couldn't have said it any better, that I'll just link it below. One last video that I did want to recommend to you guys was from someone I just discovered on YouTube. Her name is Lala Jenkins, and she recently posted her testimony about how she stopped supporting Beyonce, and her story was so similar to mine. She followed Beyonce all the way back from Destiny's Child days, and what she shared was just a testament of how God is really starting to open up eyes and reveal the truth to the people who are hungry for it. So again, I will leave all of those links in the description box. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with this video? Do you feel like Tiphani Montgomery went too far? Do you feel like she should have said things differently? Should Christians still be supporting Beyonce at this point? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this conversation, then please subscribe because there is plenty more where this came from. Also, don't forget to stop by vbvboutique.com and use discount code virtuous30 to save 30% off of your purchase from my faith-based boutique. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next one.